So grouping symbols are things like parentheses, but they can also be brackets, which you see here. They look like the little ends of a rectangle. So we call these brackets. And then we also have braces, which are like the little squiggly parenthesis looking things. And all of these are what we call grouping symbols. So all of them you could see, you might see when you're solving order of operation problems. As you continue to progress through math, different grades, courses, things like that, you will begin to see more of the brackets and the braces. We really focus a lot on just parentheses in 5th grade math, but you might see some brackets and braces now and then, and especially in this lesson, just so you can kind of get used to seeing those and what they look like. Those are all grouping symbols. You can write and evaluate numerical expressions that have more than one pair of grouping symbols. So how do you do that? We know we always start with parentheses, right? PEMDAS. Parentheses is the first thing. Well, we also have an acronym called GIMDAS. GIM, G, means grouping symbols, okay? So as you continue to get older, you might see GIMDAS more often than you see PEMDAS in assignments. So what we do is we perform operations inside those grouping symbols, whatever operations are in there. What order, what specific order do you think we go in inside those grouping symbols? Do you think we just always start with addition? What if I have multiplication and addition?
You start from left to right.
And PEMDAS, right? You still have to use your order of operation rules. So you still have to do the multiplication first, then the addition. What if I had brackets? And inside those brackets, I have parentheses. What do you think I would have to do first inside the brackets?
Parentheses.
The parentheses first. So it's kind of like working from the inside out. So you're going to see this example here. I have this problem in brackets. I have 60 minus 3 plus 7, close my bracket, times 5. So I'm starting from the inside out. I'm going to do the parentheses inside first, which is 10. Then I'm going to do 60 minus 10, which is 50. And last, I will times 5, which is 250. Yes. Not right now. Okay. So number one, let's look at this example. This is a basic example of what we would, if you can hurry, because I don't want you to miss too much of our lesson. Okay. If you have a problem like this, does it matter if I go left to right? It doesn't technically, but should I probably go ahead and just in my mind practice it that way every time? Yes. So let's start with the first problem. I have 18 minus 12. We're going to do this in pizza format. So we're practicing for that project. So 18 minus 12 is 6. I'm going to bring everything down that I haven't used yet, which is times and then parentheses 8 divided by 4. So I'm just copying everything down I haven't used. That is what I mean by pizza format. So if you're confused, this is what it means. What will I solve next? London? 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Bring everything else down. So I have 6 times 2. And what is 6 times 2? 12. 6 times 2 is 12. So notice again how it makes that shape of a pizza. Okay? Okay, number 2. This one is different. This is my new lesson today. Number 1 is like what we did in lesson 2.2, regular order of operations. Number 2, however, is with the extra grouping symbols. So inside my brackets, I have a problem. I have 10 minus, and then I have 1 plus 4 in parentheses. What will I have to do first? Fallon.
1 plus 4.
I have to do the 1 plus 4, which is 5. You bring down everything else that you haven't used yet. So I'm going to rewrite my brackets, my little box ends. And I have 10 minus the answer to 1 plus 4, which is 5. You cannot forget the 35 and the division symbol. Okay, what will I solve next? The 10 minus 5. It's still inside a grouping symbol, so I've got to do that first. Then bring down the 35 divided by. The last step is to do the division, so my answer is 7. And again, it makes that slice of a pizza.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay, let's do 3 together. 3 does not have grouping symbols inside of another grouping symbol. It's just like a normal order of operation problem. So working left to right, 60 minus 12 is 48. Bring everything else straight down. What do I do next? Bo, what would I do next on this line?
3 plus 5.
In this row here, what comes first?
3 plus 5.
The parentheses. So I'm going to do 3 plus 5, which is 8. And then bring down the 48 and the division symbol. And the last step is divide 46 by 8, which is 6. And again, pizza. Okay, we're going to skip down to number 5. Number 5, I'm going to work left to right. So 8 plus 2 is 10 times, I'm rewriting everything I haven't done yet. Okay, inside the next group of parentheses, I have 13 plus 7 plus 5. I would want to do left to right. So 13 plus 7 first. So I'm going to bring everything down. And that's going to be 20 plus 5. One step at a time. Then what do I do? Jason.
20 plus 5.
Then 20 plus 5, which is 25. Bring the 10 and the times down. And then 10 times 25 is 250. And this is what my pizza slice will look like when you do it one step at a time. Don't combine all of this into one step. It's not 13 plus 7 plus 5 is 25 right away. It's left to get 20, to right, then get 25. Okay, let's jump down to number 7. Okay, inside this one I've got brackets and I've got 2 sets of parentheses with an operation between. So one step at a time, I'm going to bring my bracket down. What is 4 plus 9? 13 minus, bring everything down, 30 divided by 6, parenthesis, close my bracket, times 4. Now I have a new problem. 30 divided by 6, good, which is 5. Bring everything down, so now I have 13 minus 5 inside the brackets, times 4. You have to write every part of your step. If I'm writing, you're writing. I want you to have all of these completed examples in your book exactly how I have it. So you have a lot of completed examples to help you. Okay, the next part, what do I do? Yellow table. What would be my next step? What do I solve next? Say it louder.
13 minus 5.
13 minus 5. Good. Which is what, guys? 8. And then 8 times 4, which is 32. And that is my huge pizza slice for this one. How many operations did I have in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be similar to one that you have to make up. You have to have at least 4 operations in your pizza project. Okay. All right. I want you and your table to practice 4, 6, and 8. Try those. Pizza format. Work together to complete 4, 6, and 8. Class.
Yes, so yes.
Okay. So on this one, you're going to want to do on number 4, you're going to work left to right. Just like, don't forget, left to right. So whichever parentheses group comes first, that's what you do first. So I do 26 plus 14. That answer is 40. Notice how I brought everything down. 95 minus, my answer was 40. Then times, parentheses 4 divided by 2. Okay, now I'm looking at that as a whole new problem. This line right here is my new problem. So what do I do first? In this problem, I do the parentheses. And I put my answer below. And I bring everything else down. Then do I subtract or multiply next? Always multiply before addition and subtraction. So that's 80. Bring the 95 minus down, you get 15. Okay, y'all tell me what I do first on number 6. Yes.
96 minus 72.
Which is
24.
24, and I'm going to bring everything down around it that I haven't used yet. So that is the 2 times the bracket, my answer 24 divided by 8, close my bracket. Now what do I do, Jason?
24 divided by 8.
Which is 3. And then bring the 2 times down, and my final answer is 6. Okay, the last one. This is a lot. I've got braces this time. Notice I have a brace here and a brace here. So inside all of the braces, I have brackets. So I want to go even inside of that. What do I do first inside the brackets? Bo.
We'll do 7 plus 5.
7 plus 5. This is going to be a long one. Your braces are going to probably look kind of funky because nobody's perfect at drawing braces. And if you can draw a perfect brace, I would love to see it because mine are always terrible. So just do a little squiggle line. I know what you're trying to do. It's fine. Keep that bracket. I'm not done with my brackets. All I've done is 7 plus 5, which is 12. Then divide by 6 plus 9. Close my bracket plus 24. Close my brace. Notice how I've brought literally one thing at a time. My brace, my bracket, my answer, 12. Divided by 6 plus 9, bracket, plus 24, brace. I'm literally just rewriting every little thing one step at a time. Okay, what do I do next? Jason?
12 divided by
Yes.
9.
The 12 divided by 6 first, which is 2. Bring everything, 36, minus, brace, bracket. My answer was 2, plus 9. Close my bracket. Plus 24, close my brace. This is my new problem. I don't have to look at anything above it. This is my new problem now. What do I do now? Riker, what would I do in this problem? What do I do first? Here. I do 2 plus 9. Perfect. So underline it, put your answer underneath it. Bring everything down. 36 minus brace. My brackets are gone now. 2 plus 9 was the last thing in my brackets, so my brackets are now gone. So I just have 11 plus 24 and then a closed bracket. Now what do I do? Austin, what would I do next?
You would do the 35 minus 36.
Oh, how did you get 36? And 35. What do I have to do? This is my problem. What do I do in this part here? How did you get, you're doing it in your head. Tell me what you did to get 35 in your head.
11 plus 24.
Yes, the 11 plus 24, which is 35. And then 36 minus 35 is 1. All that for a little old 1. Okay.
Oh, I missed it. No.
To go back, are y'all still trying to copy that work down? Because you should have all the work in your journal. Every step. Okay, we have a question. Everybody please listen. Hey, guys, teal table. Y'all listen.
Since the 12 divided by 6 plus 9 was in a parentheses, why didn't you do that all in one?
The 12 divided by 6. I had to do one step at a time. So you go one step at a time. I don't do it all at once because I don't want to. I want to show all of my steps one step at a time. That's like a pepperoni on your pizza.
Okay.
Each step, one step at a time, is a pepperoni on your pizza. I'm trying to have you break it down. Like, that's what I call funneling it down in pizza form. Because if you get down to your answer and you try and combine operations all into one step, if you end up with the wrong answer, I can't go back and show you which step you made a mistake in. Because if you're combining like 2 or 3 things all in one, I can't show you like where that mistake happened. Okay, Bo?
So, whenever we're doing this online pizza,
So do we put those in pepperonis, like each line?
Yeah, that's what, you don't have to, but that's what kids in the past have done. Each step that they're solving, they will turn it into like a topping,
Okay.
like a pepperoni or a mushroom or a salt, you know.
And then
Yeah.
we just color it and put it on top.
Yes.
I didn't think you had a problem.
That's fantastic. Okay, we're going to keep on going. Yes. Not right now. All right. Okay, number 9. 9 through 12 say, write words as an expression, then evaluate the expression. So this is kind of just reviewing back to what we did yesterday. Number 9. Divide the sum of 35 and 28 by the sum of 3 and 4. So I know I'm dividing sum of 35 and 28. So 35 plus 28 divided by the sum of 3 and 4. Okay, what is the sum of 35 and 28? What's that equal? 63. And then I'm going to divide it by 7. So my answer is 9. Okay, number 10. Add 11 to the product of 4 and 6. So add 11 to the product of 4 and 6. So I would do 11 plus 4 times 6. And it says, then divide the result by 5. Divide by 5. Okay, but will all of this work?
No.
What do I, if I'm adding 11 to the product of 4 and 6 first, what do I need to do with that? London. Parentheses around all of it. Okay? Because I'm adding 11 to this product, and then I'm dividing this result by 5. So I want all of that to be in parentheses. What would I do first inside the parentheses?
4 times 6.
Right, which is 24. Then I can see that I'm going to add 11 plus 24, which is 35. Then I can divide by 5. So my final answer is 7. Okay, then I have divide number 11. Divide 48 by the product of 12 and 2. So I'm going to divide 48 by the product of 12 and 2. Then multiply that result by 4. Okay, well, my problem that I have here is that if I leave it like this, I'm going to do 48 divided by 12 first, then times 2. It wants me to divide 48 by this product. So what do I need to do to get that answer correctly?
Put parentheses around the 12 and the 2.
I want to put the parentheses around the 12 and the 2. But then I want to take all of this and multiply it all by 4. So what do I have to do with all of this? Jason. I know I'm going to multiply it all by 4, but I got to do something to all of that. Put it in brackets. Very good. So it's going to look like this. So then now I can do the 12 times 2 first, which is 24. Then I can do the 48 divided by 24, which is 2. And then I can do, last but not least, the 2 times 4, which is 8. Last one, and then we're going to be done for the day. Number 12, multiply 8 by the product of 2 and 5. So 8 times 2 times 5. Then divide that result by 20. Divide by 20. So do I need parentheses anywhere?
Yes.
I want to multiply 8 by the product of 2 and 5. So I want to put parentheses around 2 and 5. Multiply 8 by that. And then the last thing I want to do is divide all of that by 20. But based on order of operations, I want you to think about this for a second. If I did 8 times 2 and then times 5, and then divided by 20, would I still get the same answer? Yes, even without all the brackets and the parentheses, because you multiply and divide from left to right. So it's still go in the right order, but parentheses will help you group everything. Okay, put your books away. Okay, so yesterday we started talking about order of operations, but we had grouping symbols. So what are the different types of grouping symbols that we learned about yesterday, in addition to what we already know, parentheses? Fala, what's one? Brackets. What's another? Braces. Okay, so we talked about whenever you have operations with like parentheses, inside brackets, inside braces, where do you begin? Where do you start solving those problems? London?
Parentheses.
The parentheses, which are like the innermost problem, right? So if I go back up and I look at this problem that we did yesterday, for example. Okay, we start with the innermost set of grouping symbols, which is the parentheses here. Solve that first, then do the rest of the things inside the brackets. Okay, so what I want you and your tables to do right now in number 14 with your group, I want you to solve each one of these questions and figure out which is the value that matches it. If you went ahead yesterday and you started on this, that's okay. But you have to have discussions with your table. You got to work them out together, talk about the order that you should solve them in, come to an agreement. I will choose a table to give us the answer. Ready, go. Okay, for the top problem, I know some of you said you did it in your head. Remember, it is important to show your steps, because if, for example, you make just a very simple computation mistake, I can't see the work in your head that you did. I have to see it on paper. So whenever you're turning something in, like your assignment today, you have to have all of your steps in pizza format, okay? Because otherwise, we can't see where the mistake was made, because you can't go back and be like, oh yeah, I remember that in my head in that spot. So it has to be on your paper, okay? Today it's fine because you were talking about it. But in this one, what do I do first? I do 3 plus 2 or 16 divided by 2?
3 plus 2.
3 plus 2, because I'm going to work left to right, right. So 3 plus 2 is going to be 5. Then I would have 16 divided by 2 times 4. Then I have to do this part, 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So I'm left with 5 times 8 times 4. And it doesn't matter the order that I multiply this in, because it's commutative technically. But if I'm following the rules of order of operations, I could go left to right. 5 times 8 is 40. And then times 4 is 160. Okay, the next one, 3 plus 4 is 7 times 6 divided by 1 times 4. The next step would be the 6 divided by 1, which is 6. And then I'm left with all multiplication again. So I'm going to do 7 times 6 times 4, and that's going to total up to be 168. 168. 7 times 6 is 42, and 42 times 4. That's why it's an 8 there. Some of y'all, I think, maybe accidentally added the 2 plus the 4 to get 6. Maybe that's how you got 6. Okay, the next one, yellow table, what did y'all get for the pink? Okay, for this third one. All right, so let's see. 13 plus 3 is 16 divided by, I'm bringing everything down that I haven't used yet. And then I'll do the 2 times 1, which is 2. Bring everything down I haven't used yet. Then work left to right for dividing and multiplying. So 16 divided by 2 would be 8. I'm going to write this next step over here. So 8 times 20 plus 4. 8 times 20 is 160, and 160 plus 4 is how much? 164. So that one should be 164. Now the purple one, this is where I have multiple grouping symbols. Where do I start? The parentheses inside the bracket. Which one, the first or the second set of parentheses?
The first.
The first one. So I'm going to do 3 plus 6 first, which is 9. And I'm going to bring everything down. If I'm writing, you're writing right now, guys. Oops, that's a parenthesis. Minus 27. And then my bracket. Okay, if I'm writing on this one, you're writing on this one. Okay, what do I do next? What's my next step? 18 divided by 2, which is 9. and bring everything down. So 3 times bracket, 9 times 9, minus 27. Okay, now what do I do? All my parentheses are gone inside those brackets. So now what do I do inside those brackets? Jep,
You do the 9 times 9.
which is 81. Good.
And then you subtract.
And then I'm going to bring everything down. And now, Bo, what do I do?
81 divided by, or 81 subtracted.
81 minus 27. So when I do that, I am left with, is it 54? I'm just doing that in my head. Okay. 81, 27, just to show how I did that. That's a 4 and then 5. Okay, and then I'm going to do 3 times 54, and when I get that answer, I should end up with 62. Okay, lots of work is involved because you got to show your steps. On your practice page today, I want you to show your steps. Okay? All right. Moving on to the next page. Right here. This is our last page, so not much. We're almost done. Okay, number 15, we're going to set up our own expression. We're going to solve this, and we're going to set up an expression using the information from the table given to us. So it's talking about video games, and it's telling us that we collect 12 coins and 4 gems. We complete 2 missions, and I fail 1 mission. How many points do I earn? So there's going to be some gains and some losses. So I'm going to set up an expression to represent what's happening. So the first thing that I need to know is that when I collect a coin, that's 5 points. If I have 12 coins, how might I write that as an expression? 5 times 12. So it would be
54.
maybe 12 times 5. Okay. And then I'm going to add that to how many gems I have. How many gems did I collect? 4. And what's a gem worth? 10. So 4 times 10. I'm going to add that also to how many missions I completed. So a completed mission, I had 2 of those. And how much are those worth? 50. But then I fail a mission. And what happens when I fail a mission? I lose points. So I'm going to subtract 25 from all of that. So I'm going to do all of this first. 12 times 5, which is 60. Okay, now if I'm going to kind of condense each part. So I'm going to do 60 plus 4 times 10 is 40 plus 2 times 50 is 100. Now, if I had more room, I would be showing each and every step of my pizza format, because this technically is not pizza format because I would do one thing at a time. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll combine all of this. 60 plus 40 is 100, plus another 100 makes 200. And then I want to subtract 25 from that, so the total number of points that I have should be 175. Okay, I want you in your table to practice number 16 together. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to have you start working on that. It says a horse trailer weighs 2,300 pounds. You haul 4 horses. 2 of those horses weigh 850 pounds each. The other 2 horses weigh 825 pounds and 750 pounds. What is the total weight of the trailer and the horses? So with your table, see if you can set up an expression and then figure out what the answer would be. What I did to set up my problem is I took the weight of the trailer, which is 2,300 pounds. Okay, I'm going to add that to what the weight of the horses cost. So I put all of the weight of the horses, not cost, but how much they weigh. Okay, I put all of the weight of the horses that I knew inside brackets. And then I broke up the 2 different sets of horses. So I have 2 horses that both weigh 850. So I showed that by doing 850 times 2. And then I just combined the other 2 weights of the other 2 horses together and lumped them together. So I figured out the weight of the 2 horses that weigh the same, which is 1,700 pounds. Then I added the weight of the other 2 horses, which is 1,575. added the weight of all 4 horses together, which is 3,275, plus the weight of the trailer is 5,575 pounds.